Hi, it's Nell, and I'm continuing on with the repotting marathon, and today it is the Christmas cactus. And because they are epiphytes, they like a mix that is similar to orchids or bromeliads. So stick around and find out all about that and how I'm going to repot this plant and the other plant that is on the ground that you will soon see. So first of all, these are both Thanksgiving cactus, but they get sold as Christmas cactus or holiday cactus. So that is one thing to know. The Christmas cactus and the Thanksgiving cactus require the same mix. They just have a little different leaf form. The Christmas cactus is more rounded, where the Thanksgiving cactus, also called the crab cactus, has these little notches on it. Okay, so we got the technicalities out of the way. And now for the sad story of my once beautiful Thanksgiving cactus. It has lived out on the side porch all winter long. It is now the end of March, the very end of March. And we had a few cold snaps that it went down around 27 or so. So I cover my Hoya on the side patio, and then I just put this at the base of it so the sheet could go over this. It's on a table on the patio. And I went to take the sheet off after a few days, and I was like, the pack rats got it. So I was actually going to transplant this plant because it was nice and full over here at one time. But then when I was at box cactus growers, getting cactus for the cactus gardens that I just did, they had these on sale for $3 because it's after the season. So I'm actually going to combine these, and they are both red flowers. And Christmas cactus and Thanksgiving cactus, as I said, are epiphytes, just like orchids. So they grow on other plants, and it'll rain quite often, usually where they're native to. And they also get a lot of rich plant material falling on them from above. So that's what actually feeds them. So I am going to use, for my mix, I'm going to use half succulent and cactus mix because it's nice and chunky. I'm going to use, 1/3, and then 1/3 of a good organic potting soil. I use Ocean Forest, which is Fox Farm brand. I will leave a link to it in the blog post. If I remember, I'll leave it in the box down below, but it'll definitely be in the blog post because I like that potting soil. And I'm also going to use coco coir, which is an alternative to peat moss. It's a much more eco-friendly alternative, and the coco coir I use is both the chips and the fiber, so that's almost like a bark. So some people use half potting soil, half bark. I mean, I've done that before. I'm that some people. You'll see different mixes for the Christmas cactus, but it is like, chunky but rich. A cymbidium orchid mix would be fine for it too. Something like that. And the mix that this one has been in, I've never really liked. It's actually pulling away from the pot. It's not planted in here. I hope I don't get my fingers stuck in the drain hole. Oh, have to hobble in the house with the pot attached to my finger and call 911. So it's been pulling away from the pot. So I've wanted to transplant it, and I think it would make these leaves, plump up a little bit more, because they've been looking a little bit thin. So that being said, we'll see how these two combine. And then after I get it planted, I'm going to cut these down a bit. I haven't pruned these off at all. The pack rats did the pruning, but I'll see how it is. I might just plant right over them and see what happens. So hopefully you can see here how the soil is pulling away from the pot a little bit, and see the remains of the pack rat feast. those, you know, varmints. That's it. This is war, pack rats. So I'm going from a 6-inch pot into an 8-inch pot. That's so it can give these two plenty of room. And I just want to show you the cocoa coir mix I use. It is the chips and the fiber. So it's going to love this chunky mix. And also too, I have potting soil in there. And now I'm gonna scoot out of the frame a bit so I can get the, oops, so I can trip and fall over the dustpan and broom. And that is the succulent and cactus mix. It is locally produced. So again, it's nice and rich. It's got cocoa coir in it too. Woo-hoo! So I'm gonna get this mixed up, and then I'm also going to put some compost in there because that will mimic that nice plant debris falling from above. So now I'll zoom in, get a little bit closer so you can see me struggle to get these two into this pot. So actually I don't think it's going to be all that much of a struggle, but like sometimes when I really do, this is going to come out like a dream. There we go. Oh. Sclerotia exotic dancer. Holiday cactus red. All right, well, that's good to know. So I'm going to put it over there for now. Oops. That's the thing is these leaves are heavier usually than the base, and this is a stem which broke off, so I'm just going to stick it right in there. And this little leaf is already rooted in there, so I'll just leave it there. And let's see. So I'm going to take off, I'll show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to take off a bit here because this should come back. I think I'm going to trim that one at least down to there, but that should come back just fine. Oh man. Oh, no wonder why this plant wasn't holding any water. Wow. It is tight. Okay, I'm going to take off some of this old soil because I don't like it. I probably should have had a small trowel for this one. So let me do this way and see how much real estate this is going to take up. Oh yes, so I'm going to have to go and get something to, I think what I'm going to do is, well, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I got my floral knife because I thought this would pull apart a bit easier. But how the growers usually do these is they start them in plugs and they just start them as cuttings, and then they'll put 2 or 3 or 4 cuttings per pot, and obviously this was 3 little separate plants. So this one I'm going to try to keep because this leaf is actually rooted in here. That's one way to propagate this plant. I'm just going to go through and cut this one off here like that, and then just gently pull it apart. So this will make it much easier to get this big old chunk in here. Like that. Take back a little bit of that so that it's not up so high. There we go. And I just want to just pull this apart a little bit more so that it's, boy, I just, watered this like 3 days ago and it's like almost bone dry again. All right, let's see. I'm going to get some soil off of this, and then everybody's going in the pool. There we go. Okay. Just going to start it. I start it with a knife, and then I pull it off like that. There we go. And now this one. Gonna go right in there. like that. Oops, uh-oh. I got somebody down there. And then this I'm going to put here. Right in there. I'm going to lean it out a little bit because I kind of like the form they get where they droop over the pot. But this one is drooping a little bit too much. So I'm going to go in and fill in with those 3 components. And then I will be back with you. Oops. Because that just does not want to stay up. Okay, so I at least have it standing up now. I just had to fill in and really press around. And now I'm putting in some compost, which it'll love. This is a locally produced organic compost. And as I said, it's that nice, rich, organic matter that this plant loves. So we're going to go tuck some in, and then I think I'll top it with succulent and cactus mix because I didn't put any of that in when I was filling around. Oh, and what I forgot to tell you, too, at least I think I forgot to tell you, I put a little sprinkle of charcoal on the bottom, in the bottom, like 2 inches of this pot. I didn't fill it up to 2 inches, but it's at about the 2-inch mark with the mix. I put in some charcoal because I always have that on hand for my indoor potting projects. It's especially good for dish gardens and terrariums because it sweetens the soil. You know how charcoal is all the rage for toothpaste and all that now. It does the same thing. It just sweetens the soil and it also aids in the drainage. Well, it doesn't look half bad now, but in about 6 months, it'll look a lot better. So I put the succulent and the cactus mix on the top. And the succulent cactus mix and the coco coir are very light. So the plant, because it is a bit heavier up here, it is going to eventually sink a bit. And I just kind of tucked it in here because this one was flippy flopping all over the place. These leaves are big. This one, of course, came, from the greenhouse, so that's why it looks so gorgeous. And now we have our little stem cutting here, which I think I'm going to cut this part off or twist it off. There we go. I've never left an awkward nub like that on a Christmas cactus or Thanksgiving cactus, so I don't know how it's going to grow back. So I think I'm going to these I'm going to have to clip because they're so close here. I don't think I can twist them off. That's my preferred method. They also get very stalky toward the bottom as they get older. So I'm going to cut these off. I'll finish doing that. I didn't realize I was going to do that. I thought I was just going to do the cutting, but okay, I left a couple of the nubs on just to see how they would come back. Oops, I think I should take off, this one here. No, I'm going to leave that one and see how it does because I have never done that and I like to experiment. So I'm going to turn this so you can see. I'm going to put the cutting right in this spot here because it's a little bit empty. And this has been healing off, this part here, meaning scabbing over for about 5 days now. So I'm just going to put it down in there. I think I'm going to get it a little bit deeper. I don't want it to come out. Right in there. And just kind of tuck the mix around it. And I found that they root fairly fast. That leaf, which is actually now buried, it just fell off and it rooted in there. So now, the usual, if you have watched any of my videos, you know I like worm compost for succulents. Christmas cactus are succulents, Thanksgiving cactus, as is holiday cactus. So I'm just going to sprinkle it all the way around. And while I'm doing that, I will tell you that the best time to repot a Christmas cactus or Thanksgiving cactus is after it flowers. And mine stopped flowering in the end of December. So I could have potted it, but it was still cool, so I waited until it got warmer, and then the pack rats got it. But I think it'll come back to it just fine. So this is my my custom Christmas cactus or holiday cactus and Thanksgiving cactus. But this side here of this plant was really starting to drape and droop over, but oh well. But this, I think, fills it in very nicely. All right, all done, and I'm going to leave a couple of mixed alternatives for you in the blog post along with the one that I do, in case you didn't catch that in this video. But now what? Okay, so I'm going to take it back over to my side porch, which is a covered porch, covered patio, I should say. And it is a north exposure, gets nice bright light, so that this won't get any direct sun, but it'll be really nice and bright. I'm gonna let it settle in for a couple days before I water it. Usually with fleshy succulents, I will let them settle in for about 5 days. Cactus, a week to 2 weeks before I water them. But because this is an epiphytic cactus and this one was really dry, I'm only gonna let it settle for like a day or two, and then I will give it a nice thorough watering. And what this is going to do, it's going to not only help the plant here in this very dry climate, I'm in Tucson, Arizona, but I'm not going to have to water this plant as often as I have been. Oh, and speaking of Christmas cactus, I've done quite a few posts on them. I think I've done 3 or 4, including a detailed care post and video, so I will leave the link for that down below, and also in the blog post that goes along with this video. It is now 3 weeks later, and because it took me a while to publish this, as it usually does with my videos, I thought I'd jump on in and show you what's going on. See, this one here, the newer one, has a lot of new growth on it, that bronzy red, beautiful growth. It is looking good. And then the older one, and the one that got eaten by the pack rats, is looking so much better. It's nice and firm, and it's looking a lot plumper and juicier, and it's got new growth on it in a lot of places. So all in all, this is doing great. It's been outside on my patio. It's getting hot here in Tucson, so probably leave it out here because I'm starting to run out of room inside for plants. So just as long as I keep it out of any direct sun, I think it'll be okay outside. But I'll let you know. All right, I'm going to zoom in on the parts that the pack rats ate. There's some new growth coming right there. I don't know if you can see it. You can probably see that growth coming there. So on some of those chomped parts, there is new growth coming, as I thought there would be. So it's now the end of April, so by fall, this should be looking pretty darn filled in. All in all, I'm happy with it, and it seems to be happy too. So I hope you have found this video about repotting or transplanting a Thanksgiving, Christmas, holiday cactus to be helpful. I have a lot more videos coming your way, quite a few on repotting houseplants, so stay tuned for those. And be sure and come back because I post a new video here at YouTube every week. So there's also a lot of videos for you to choose from on gardening, plants, flowers, succulents, bromeliads, lots of houseplant stuff. And I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out in our gardens or into our indoor gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. As always, I thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!